I brought myself to Mount Shasta this week because I needed an intervention. I was introduced to this property in 2018, and I remember when I came here on a retreat, and I'm actually in this huge open field that's further back beyond where most of the activities actually even occur. And I remember when the woman who was leading the retreat brought me on the land after I arrived. And I remember when she took me to where you can fill your water bottles up, and it was just this stream with a piece of bamboo cut in half as though it's like the spigot. I started to cry. Even I was somewhat like, whoa, what's happening inside of me? I was so overwhelmed. It's like nature has a powerful way of putting us in our place. That experience of knowing what a speck we are, like how little we are, but what we are a part of. For the last 2.5 years, I have been building an online business that is not yet successful in really in any way that I would like it to be. I have tested a lot of things. I've been a really good student. I've learned so much. I've learned a lot about what not to do. But I think that's all part of the experience. I do think that I got to a place where I was like a dog at a bone. Maybe you know what that's like. It reminded me the energy of my mom. For her, I think it was like not to be still. And although I could definitely have been invoking that more into this experience, that's not what the motivation was for me. For me, it was that I really wanted to figure this out. I was having after a while, I was having a really hard time that I wasn't able to figure it out. I had joined Facebook and then Instagram years ago and really had stopped posting for a long time. I enjoyed Instagram in the beginning because it was like a form of expression. I love photography and I definitely have a lot to say and I love to encourage. And I don't remember exactly when, but I just stopped way before COVID. So when this journey began, which was not a plan, it was always an ideal scene to be working for myself, to build my company, to build my organization. And I've been told that many times over that that's really what I should be doing. I didn't grow up with really any entrepreneurship around me. So I really did not have a model and I didn't have the courage. I didn't have the bankroll. I didn't have the money and I didn't have the audacity that I think comes when you've seen it and you're operating without a lot of fear or like not fear that's going to hold you back. Because I think so many of us don't do the things that we're here to do because of the fear. So I've been on this journey since December of 2023, and I have put like 1,000% into everything. If anything, at some point, I started doing too many things because I would learn the next thing and could see the value in it. And sometimes I would let some things go. But I found over the journey, like when I finally launched my podcast, of which I'm still not posting regularly, that's really that's my intention. I haven't been able to let that go, like say, okay, I'm not going to do that. I was posting on TikTok 3 times a day for an entire year. April 21st was an entire year. I probably missed 3 or 4 days tops. I'm not posting on anything while I'm here. And that's probably the longest since this journey started that I'm not getting on social media and I'm not posting on social media. And I'm not judging myself for it. Maybe nature's had its way with me. What I really needed was permission to accept the whole experience thus far. I shared with someone recently that I was really struggling. I was really struggling. Most of March felt like I was like a fish on the shore, just flopping. I just couldn't shake it. I was so frustrated. And yeah, just some of my old stories and patterns were running, but just also feeling really emotional. There was a lot going on astrologically that I do know plays a part. And I'm just finally put the completion on all of my mother's estate since she passed away. I'm really immersed in my father's caretaking, and he lives in Missouri when I live in California, Los Angeles. So there's still a lot of stuff happening. But I was just really at this place where I felt like I'd run out of ideas that felt clear, that felt aligned. And I'm just remembering that I really have not wanted to do sales in the traditional sense. Now, I am not somebody who's ever had a hard time selling something that I really believe in. When I have had a couple offerings, I have a great time inviting people to join. But the bigger ticket items, I haven't done a lot of that. In my career and in my professional business, it's come to me, or I've been a part of organizations where I've done coaching through them. I got to a place where I I don't know if you've ever had this experience. I mean, women are more apt to be verbal processors because that's how we've been conditioned, that we're allowed to express our feelings and share our feelings, even though not all of us actually do. I have found that it's helpful for me to verbally process, and it's usually me saying something to someone, then I hear it, and then I hear myself sharing it with several people in different times, and it's like it's because the learning is integrating, it's continuing to synthesize. And I heard something, I think it was in somewhere in mid-April. I think I was saying that March was tough. April was really, really rough. It was the end of March and April. So I had this awareness that the word defeat came forward, and not wanting to, what I was holding it as, is admit defeat for where I'm at right now. And it's so interesting because it feels very masculine, which I know that, business and building can be. And I've had like some dialogues with all of the different chatbots, but lately it's been Gemini. It doesn't have as much of my history, but it has enough. And, they all kind of work quickly and sizing you up and trying to collapse everything that you've shared with them into each other. At least that's how I'm experiencing Gemini. Anyways, that being said, one time I heard myself not that long ago having a conversation where it's like, I just can't understand why I can't figure this out. And hearing myself say that was really powerful. It was hard to hear, and there was definitely tears throughout. But it was the beginning of me acknowledging this awareness of the defeat. And here's the thing. As soon as I made that awareness, there was some pressure that was released, because for me, it became then, oh, this is my ego. This is my ego that is trying to run me, and it's creating a lot more suffering than I need to be experiencing, because it's just recycling that. Now, it's still hard. I'm not saying that there isn't a part of me that's still holding for like a door to open or an awareness to come through or something to Because part of why it hasn't worked is that I'm not I'm not here just to sell something. And I'm not doing cold DMs, which is how a lot of people get going. And I've invested in quite a few programs, one of which was a significant investment last year that one part of it served me and it's still unfolding, but the rest I should have asked more questions. I I don't want to get into naming it, but it was definitely, it let me down, and it was a significant financial investment. So, and all of it is learning. One of the ways that I feel, and I haven't talked as much about it here on my YouTube channel, but I talk about a ethos, real wealth. And it's really an awareness that we are sovereign, and it's an awareness that we have choice and agency. And it also, in the physical world, it has a lot to do with financial. I am somebody who doesn't carry debt. I am somebody that still feels fairly financially free, for sure. And my intention in creating this business was to create something that would be 6, 7, potentially 8 figures. Not because I need 8 figures, but because of what I can do with 8 figures, because of the nonprofit organization that I have been dreaming about since 2011, and so on and so forth. There's more there. I don't want to get down that rabbit hole. I have a tendency to do that. And I love that about myself on a good day. So my point in sharing this is that when I realized that I was in a lot of pain because I wasn't quite conscious yet until I became so, that I didn't want to admit defeat, that idea, holding it in that way, was really painful, was really hurting me. And as you may have seen if you've watched any of my other videos, I'm also aware that I was having a hard time interrupting the all of the work streams. I was having a hard time slowing one down or not doing or just taking a complete break to stop doing all of it. Even this, I've scheduled videos only on YouTube. YouTube is the only one I didn't want to stop because I'm on a 100-day streak that I see myself not stopping. And I'm enjoying it. But I needed to come here because I needed to get out of my life to interrupt the behavior. So I don't have a wrap up for this, meaning there's no bow yet. I think there's some things I shared here that have some value, and hopefully maybe they helped you or made you feel seen. The one thing that I talk about a lot, and I will continue to talk about, is neutral observation. And that skill and practice is the reason why I became aware of how I was suffering, by holding myself in this way of like, oh, I'm admitting defeat, like it's a battle. Like there's so many metaphors there. And now that I brought awareness to it through the neutral observation, I'm not making myself wrong. That's the neutrality. And now I can work with it, and I can shift it, and I can be aware so I don't keep going down that path energetically, which, by the way, does not support creativity or inspiration, or it's not magnetic. So more to come. My name is Jennifer Herrera. I appreciate you being here with me. And if this is your jam, if you're not already, please subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow.